We will begin the session in a few minutes. Thank you for your patience.
Welcome to the International Coaching Week 2026, an initiative by the ICF Saudi Arabia chapter. Our vision is to be the leading catalyst for excellence in coaching and personal development in Saudi Arabia. We aim to empower individuals and organizations to realize their full potential and achieve sustainable growth through coaching. Our mission is to advance the art, science, and practice of professional coaching in Saudi Arabia. We do this by providing high-quality education, fostering a strong community of skilled coaches, promoting ethical standards, and creating opportunities for growth and collaboration. Here is the ICF Saudi Arabia Chapter Board, dedicated to achieving our vision and mission.
You are mute, Heba.
Hello and welcome to the ICF Saudi chapter webinars in the International Coaching Week 2026. The theme of the Saudi chapter this year is going to be practice, well-being, and interventions. At the Saudi chapter, we have a clear vision, which is being the leading catalyst for excellence in coaching and personal development in Saudi Arabia, empowering individuals and organizations to realize their full potential and achieve sustainable growth through the power of coaching. We also have a mission, which is to advance the art, science, and practice of professional coaching in Saudi Arabia by providing high-quality education, fostering a strong community of skilled coaches, promoting ethical standards, and creating opportunities for growth and collaboration. On behalf of my colleagues, the Saudi chapter board members, I would like to welcome all of you today and wish you a pleasant experience. And from the board today, I will be with you. My name is Hiba Raouf, and I am the membership director of the Saudi chapter. Before we begin, let's set some few house rules to ensure you have the ultimate benefit of today's session. So we expect you to keep your microphone muted at all times. Please place your questions in the chat box or just keep them until we open the Q&A. To receive your continuing education hours certificates, please ensure you remain in the session until the end. And also you have to put your name on the Zoom window to match your registered name on the ICF platform. After setting this agreement, let's move forward. So today we have a very insightful topic, coaching for higher emotional intelligence, presented by our amazing speaker, Ghalia Saif. Ghalia is a strategic HR consultant and executive leadership coach with over 12 years of international experience across Canada and the Middle East. She specializes in organizational development, HR transformation, leadership coaching, and performance optimization. She has worked with leading organizations including CIBC Canada, KFU PM, and global consulting firms such as PwC Strategy and Mercer and EY. As an ICF professional certified PCC coach, Ghalia is passionate about helping leaders and organizations grow through emotional intelligence, strategic leadership, and people-centered transformation. She holds an MBA and MSc in Human Resources Management and Development and multiple international HR certificates. Ghalia is the founder of ICF Accredited Institute, ICM, which provides coaching, education, and consulting services. Without further ado, please join me in welcoming Coach Ghalia. And Coach Ghalia, the stage is yours now.
Thank you so much, Hiba, for introducing me and having me over. And I would like to say thanks to ICF Saudi Chapter Management. I'm truly grateful to be here on this platform where I'm surrounded by all amazing, wonderful colleagues. And thanks for ICF Saudi Chapter for providing us this platform to share knowledge, to learn together. And I believe when we learn together, that learning is more impactful, meaningful, and lasting. So with this thought, let's start with the very simple question. So how many of you believe that we know we truly understand our emotions? You can answer in the chat box.
So we have
That's
no,
great.
not me, 50-50,
Yeah.
trying to a certain extent when aware.
Yeah. Okay.
Not all the time, not really.
Yeah. They are being honest. Like most of us, literally, we think that we understand our emotion, and most of the time we mislabel our emotion. And I believe when normally we think mislabeling is not a big issue, but when we mislabel our emotion, I believe it's a big issue in the sense that it leads to poor decision making, misunderstanding, unnecessary conflicts, and in our personal life and professional life. So that's why I think it's very important that we learn emotions and we understand our emotion to process it well. So can I share my screen, Hiba, here?
Yes, sure, you have access to share your screen.
And basically, the mislabeling is just not because of lack of awareness. I think it's because of lack of vocabulary. So if I can ask you, without using happy, sad, angry, stressed, or fine, can you name your current emotional state?
Ghalia, can you please go back to the first slide? Just 1 second.
Sure.
Thank you.
So can I move forward?
Yes, please, go ahead.
Yeah. So if I can ask you, can you please tell me your current state right now? Current emotional state?
Covering, excited, sad, stressed, drained.
Yeah, you're not allowed to use sad word actually.
No happy, no sad, and no
No
stress.
stress, no fine. Yeah.
Yeah. Grateful, exploring, worried. Worried is a bit like stress. Unstable,
Yeah. Okay. Unstable is still, yeah, good.
exhausted.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, it could be, yeah, because it's a evening time, so definitely, like most of us will be exhausted after a long day. So
Excited.
basically,
Oh,
yeah,
sorry. Expecting and enjoying. Anxious, and that's it.
anxious. Okay. So yeah, basically, like most of adults, they are emotional third graders. So they are very poor in expressing their emotions. And I'm sure like most of you are coaches, and when the clients they come to you, they use a very limited vocabulary. I'm sure they must be using all these 5 words. So we can do some cheating here. Like I can just tell you, maybe these are the emotions like normally we feel. You can also cheat from here. So basically, being a coach, it's very important for us to expand our emotional vocabulary. Because if we don't expand our emotional vocabulary, it will be very hard for us to, explore the client problem, to reach to the root cause. Because, like the clients, they come to us with their very complicated problems, and they have a very limited vocabulary to explain their problems. So if we won't help them to expand their vocabulary or help them to find the right word, so they won't be able to, express their problem. So a coach with a poor emotional vocabulary is just like a doctor with only one medicine. So for this thing, to understand our emotions, we will use four lenses, emotional lenses basically. So before we jump into the emotional lenses, first we will see what is the purpose of today's session. So by the end of the session today, all the participants should understand emotions are more complex than happy, sad, and angry. Emotional vocabulary changes, coaching quality actually. Emotions are partly constructed, interpretation, not just reaction. Coaches can help clients move through emotions systematically. So we will also explore core emotional intelligence competencies. For example, self-awareness, self-management, empathy, motivation. So the goal is today to help individuals move from emotional confusion to emotional clarity, connection, and purposeful action. So now we will jump into four lenses. Sorry, just a minute. Okay, so these are the lenses. Like the first one is mapping the architecture of feeling. The second lens is assessing the truth through vocabulary. The third lens is deconstructing how emotions are made. So navigating the feelings systematically. So first we will look into the first lens. So this first lens is developed by the Plutchik Robert. So according to him, the emotions are not flat, they are not simple. They have an architecture. They have an architecture. So according to him, so emotions, according to the first autonomy of the emotions, it has 8 families, 8 primary families of emotions, which is joy, anticipation, anger, disgust, sadness, surprise, fear, trust. And the second layer is about the intensity. So for example, if I can tell that I'm angry, maybe I'm not angry. My intensity is higher, is I'm raging. Maybe I can say I'm not even not angry, I'm just annoyed. So it's just about that intensity. Intensity help us to name the emotion properly. Because if we won't name the emotion, we won't be able to tame it. In order to deal with the emotion, it's very important to understand what emotional feeling we are having right now. So same goes to for example, fear. Maybe the feeling is not fear, I'm terrified. Maybe, it's on the high intensity. And maybe it's just, apprehension. I'm just feeling or assuming something. So, and according to him, the third layer is the blending. So basically, we can say that sometimes the feeling is just not a one emotion. It's a blending of few emotions. So for example, we are expecting something, we are anticipating something, but we feel the joy with that. So it could be optimism. And sometimes we can say that the blend is joy, trust, which is equal to love. So sometimes it's just not that one emotion, it's a blend of different emotions. So according to Plutchik, every emotion, this category has three layers or three key factors. The first, that families, the second is intensity, and the third one is the blending. So emotions are not random, they have structure. When we understand their families, intensity, and blend, we can name them accurately and manage them even more effectively. So we finished the first lens. If you have any questions, please let me know. Or Hiba, if you have any question?
I do. I definitely do.
Okay.
So I wanted to ask you, do the colors and shades of the circle also define the intensity of the emotion?
Yes, exactly. So emotions are like colors basically. The lighter color represent to the mild emotion, the darker color represent to the the high intensity of the emotion. So for example, here when I say that anger is the main family, which is the medium color. When I say I'm annoyed, it's on the lighter side. When I'm saying I'm raging, it's on the darker side. So basically, colors are representing the intensity here.
Any more questions? Please write them on the chat if you have any questions. I think we're good to go.
Okay, great. So then we will move to our second lens, which is this lens is developed by Brené Brown. So for her, she thinks that the words create excess. So for her, mislabeling an emotion leads to misdirected coaching. So for her, naming is an intervention. We feel deeply, but sometimes we name poorly. And like as she expressed that, there's not maybe just one emotion. There could be 100 of emotions. It's just that, sometimes emotions has variation. So depending on how precisely we name them and how how specifically we will be in naming them. So according to her, we have around 87 emotions. So if I can ask you, how many of these emotions do you use actively in your coaching practice? Or are you guys familiar of these words?
Dalia, is it okay to ask another question?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. So let me say in where I come from, usually emotions are described as either positive or negative, good or bad, and that's it.
Mm-hmm.
And this is a big challenge as a coach. So how can we encourage our clients, or let's say, I don't want to say teach them the vocabularies about the emotions, but how can we encourage them to elaborate more on the emotion and use different vocabularies?
We can use different vocabularies or
More precise ones or more accurate ones.
more accurate ones. Yeah,
Yes.
basically it's just like that, sometimes, as I explained earlier, that I'm feeling angry. So we can say, when you are saying angry, what does it mean? Because normally, for example, here, if we can look into that, the client if says that, I'm angry here. Anger means the reaction to injustice. But maybe the client, he says that, no, I'm not reacting to anything. I'm just feeling that. Then we can ask them, what is your feeling right now? Maybe he's holding on to some unmet expectation. Right? And we can ask them the questions. The client will bring those answers to us. So then that's where the coaching shift will change, and that way will help them to label their emotions. Like sometimes, like even it happens with me. Like once, like I wasn't able to meet one of the deadline, and I was feeling like I'm sad. Then later I realized I'm really sad. So I was just trying to explore myself. Then later I found I'm just disappointed. because I couldn't meet, my hopes. I couldn't meet the deadline. So I was just disappointed with myself. So it was not sad, it was not pensiveness, it was just a feeling. So then it helps us to ask, if we ask more question, what are you feeling? Where are you feeling? If this thing is not here, how would you behave that? So these questions will help even as us as a coaches to to name the emotion, or help the client to name the emotions properly. So I hope I answer your question.
Yes, thank you so much. And we also have more questions on the chat. Would you like to take them now?
Okay, let me finish this one, then we can move to the questions. Is it
Sure.
okay?
Yes, sure.
Okay, so basically, according to after this, when we say that there is no fixed emotion, or there's not one emotion or two emotion, it's just like how richly we can differentiate them. We can do the diagnostic impact here. For example, a client comes to you and he asks you that I'm stressed. He's labeling, because stress is a very common word we use, and stress means too much to do. But maybe his actual emotion was overwhelmed. So it means like nervous system collapse. You need to pause. So by naming or understanding the right emotion, the coaching shift will change. And the coach will not ask you to do, prioritize your work. The coach will ask you, pause, take a deep breath, regulate yourself. Even sometimes, because we are a human being, it's important for us to pause sometime. So just like sometimes the example, sometimes you have to sleep to rise. Just like when we make a pizza dough, so we keep it for some time. So we don't bake it right away. We let it sleep for some time to rise, and then we bake it. So just for as a human body as well, the coach can ask them to pause for some time. And anger we already discussed. And again, same goes to the grief. So if the client comes to you and he can tell you that I'm grieving, maybe it's not grieving. Grieving means it's a profound loss. So maybe he's just disappointed because of some unmet hopes. So coach shifts change from mourning to reality to recalibrating future goals. So basically, naming the right emotion will help us as a coach to change the shift and do the right intervention. So according to Brené Brown's, naming an emotion is not just descriptive, it is an intervention. The moment you shift from a vague to a precise one, you change the entire direction of your response. So our emotional intelligence grown with our vocabulary, the more precisely we can name what we feel, the better we can understand and communicate it. Yes, Heba, what is the question we have? So by the way, I would like to share a story here with you guys. I had a coach, so he was believing that his team is, underperforming, and he was kind of frustrated. So he came to me, he told me that my team was underperforming, and I decided to become more directive. He started micromanaging them, giving them short deadlines, and he thought, this is the only way to treat his team, because his belief was that they are underperforming. And he was frustrated just because of them. So later, what happened when we explored the situation? So we realized that his team was not underperforming. In fact, there was some changes in the higher management, and he was anxious about that. And he was carrying that pressure, and he was transferring that pressure to the team. And because of his, strict attitude, the team became, uncertain. They lost clarity. When he realized that, he changed his shift. He thought, okay, the approach I was using was wrong. So he became, more friendly. He had one-on-one conversation with the clients, with the team, and the team, they start engaging with him, and the performance was increased. So just because of changing his emotion, his understanding. He just, he improved the overall team's performance. Yes, please, Eva.
You're muted. Hiba, you are muted.
Oh, sorry, not again. I'm sorry. Okay. So Dr. Ziad is asking, is it possible to use the color coding to help the client give more profound or meaningful description of their emotions?
Oh, definitely, yeah. Even we can use this, the wheel I showed you. Definitely, it can help you to find that, because if we can show the wheel, then they will have a more vocabulary, they will have more word. This is what I was trying to tell. Sometimes it's not a lack of awareness, it's a lack of vocabulary. Basically, they know they're feeling, but they are just sitting with only with a very very limited words, so they just explain themselves only with those words. So I believe that if you show that wheel to the client and ask, where are you sitting here in this wheel? So then definitely they will be able to explain themselves better.
Also, Coach Muhammad Al-Shafi'i is saying that he knows many of the words that were written. Butaina is saying 30%. Samira Saeed is saying a lot of them, and Muna is saying many of these words are not familiar. Marianne is saying, have used a large number of these words, but I see the need to be more aware of the layers. That's a good question.
Yeah.
Yes. Sometimes we say, Butaina is saying, sometimes we say, I'm bad, but I'm deeply feel fear. Okay. And Ilham is saying, I think at the beginning, the client might use an emotion, then after understanding themselves more, they go deeply to describe it correctly using the right name. Which Muhammad Al-Shafi'i again is saying, how can we deal with a client doesn't know how to identify their emotion to begin with? You already answered this,
Yeah.
right? Ghalia, would you like to add anything to this question?
Yeah, for example, now we will move to the another, the next lens that will also help them to, diagnose the problem, and it will help them to explore the situation or the emotion more, deeply.
Exactly. And we're good to go. I think I will keep my mic on and I'll stay
Yeah.
quiet.
So I was sharing my screen. I'm just thinking what happened to that. Let me try again to share.
Okay. Coach Muhammad, is it possible to keep your question when Ghalia finishes? Thank you so much.
Oh yeah, no, it's okay. Okay. So now, so before I move to the third lens, I want to ask you a question that if you receive a message from your higher management that I want to see you in 30 minutes, what would be the first thought to come into your mind?
To me, that's scary. I don't know for others.
Okay.
Fire. Khaled is saying it's fire. And I can't read the name correctly, but she's saying fear. Karina is saying lay off. It's going so fast. And Faris is saying something important need to be solved. Ilham is saying urgent. Muna is saying there is something wrong. Butaina is saying stressed. Soha is saying good forbidden. Sorry, God forbidden. And curious. And we have anticipation and fear. Something wrong. Depends on the tune. I will go home. Walid is saying he will go home.
You will go, okay. I think that's an extreme, yeah.
Also, all the rest are curious and worried and feeling that there's something important, act as busy,
Oh,
so
yeah,
they will
okay.
not see the manager.
Yeah. So did you notice one thing here? The situation is identical. The situation is same, but every person have a different response, or every person have a different interpretation of the same situation.
We still have more answers.
Yes.
Hanadi will check her email, her sent messages to the manager to make sure nothing wrong and to
Okay.
make sure that she didn't miss any deadline. Najat will be wondering, and we have somebody is very enthusiastic, thinking of a promotion, and curious again.
Okay, that's nice. That's good to know that. Like, you know,
Yes.
everyone have a different perspective. So according to Lisa Barrett, it's the same thing, you know, your brain is guessing. And idea is that emotions are not automatically reaction to events. They are constructed interpretation. What we feel is shaped by a combination of our past experience, body sensation, and that's how, and the, you know, current context, what is the context, and how our brain makes meaning of the situation. So the same external event can generate completely different emotions in different people, or even the same person in different person at the different times. Even the same person will feel different in the same, you know, some different times. So what it means in the practice that emotions don't come directly from the situation. They come from the story we attach to the situation. For example, if someone doesn't respond to your email, the one person will think maybe, you know, he's busy, he will be calm. But some person will think, you know, like, yeah, he's ignoring me. So it's just as, you know, context or interpretation change the whole meaning of the situation. So even this story, it happened with me as well. Like one day I had to discuss with something with my colleague, and one afternoon, like, we decided that we will meet next morning, 9 o'clock, uh, to discuss this topic. So we have decided. I sent a meeting invite. It was around like 2:30. So I sent an invite, and then we decided we hang over. And then after that, I asked, you know, I left my office because I had a meeting in another office. So I left it. So next morning, I received a notification that, you know, this person has canceled the meeting. I was just surprised. I thought maybe, you know, she just got busy somewhere, and that's why she canceled the meeting. And I was just driving to my office. I reached office. I opened my desktop. Suddenly, I saw a very furious email. Like, she was raging. You know, you didn't show up. You was not there. I waited for you in the meeting. Then I called her. I asked her, you know, are we not supposed to meet 9 o'clock? She said, no, I sent you email around like 3:30 and you didn't respond. Like, normally I don't check emails after, you know, 4 o'clock. I didn't check the email. Then I told her that, you know, I wasn't aware. I was not on my desk. I was in the meeting. So I wasn't able to check and respond to you. And you sent me the invite. I couldn't see the even invite. So just because I was on my side, I just didn't check the email. That's why I couldn't respond. But on her side, she thought I'm ignoring her. So just, you know, a thought has changed the whole situation. So that's how, if we can say that, you know, clients, they come to us, they're not merely reporting reality. They are reporting an interpreted reality. The brain receives raw bodily sensation and predicts what they mean based on the past context. So for example, if we can say that a person, his heart is racing, he has a job interview, it can lead to anxiety. And at the same time, for someone else, or maybe for the same person, heart is racing, but he's going on a first date. That leads to excitement. So it's always, you know, same body sensation, different context, construct the different emotion. So basically, you know, if we can go back. So according to Lisa Barrett's conclusion, emotions are not fixed. They are constructed by our brain based on past experience, which means more control over them than we think. The moment you understand this, you stop treating your emotions as a fact and start examining them as interpretation. The shift alone significantly strengthens emotional intelligence. So same goes right now. We send the same message to everyone, but everyone, they just, give the same, the different meaning to the same situation. So that's where the emotional intelligence come, that we should understand the emotion, we should understand the context, and then we should, control our emotion, and you should be more intentional in our response. Yeah. So is there any question for the third lens?
I'm afraid to say that I have a question, but I think I will keep it to the end with all the participants. What do you think? Shall I ask now?
Yeah,
I'm
you can ask,
curious.
but yeah, okay, sure, you can ask, yeah.
Okay. So it's about the body language, because sometimes the client is telling you something, they are telling you an emotion,
Mm-hmm.
but you see that their body language is saying something different. Do you
Mm-hmm.
think, as a coach, shall I point this out, or just like ask my questions based on what he's saying? And also,
Okay.
is
Mhm.
yeah, please go ahead.
Yeah, please go ahead.
Also, does it mean that this is a misinterpretation from the client, or I don't know.
By the way, it's a great question, and it's a one of the question. It's it's always they have in the PCC and MCC exam. So if somebody is looking, if they're planning to sit for this exam, they can also focus on this question. So basically, if client is saying something and his body language is mismatching what he's saying, and the coach, he continues without and he continues ignoring his body language, and whatever he's saying, he just following that will be the worst option in any situation. So I think, as a coach, even though we should notice that, but the only thing is that rather than correction, we should go with the curiosity. You can ask the client, what I'm hearing is this, that you are not bothered, but your body language looks tense. What is underneath? Or you can say that, is there anything else? Is there anything you want to share more? So in this situation, you have to develop that trust. As I mentioned earlier, sometimes they are unaware. They are unaware and they don't know how to express that. And sometimes it's also the emotional avoidance, because it's not easy to express yourself in front of someone. So as a coach, it's our responsibility to create that safe space for the client where he can, openly express. By the way, it just remind me one of the story. Have you ever heard of Hiba, about the Alexander and his horse story?
Fortunately not.
Okay, okay. So basically, when everyone knows about Alexander, so and his horse is also very famous in the history. Uh, Once in his father's court, somebody brought a horse, that this horse is very wild, it's untamable, it's hard to control, and there were many experienced riders. They all tried to tame that horse, but everybody was unsuccessful. So Alexander, even since childhood, he was very smart in emotional intelligence. What he did, he start noticing, his movement. He start observing horse. Whenever he was eating, he started eating. If the horse is sleeping, he started sleeping with him. So he was just copying or following whatever the horse was doing. So in that time, he realized how he can handle the horse. So that one thing he noticed, the fear, the thing behind his horse actions was his fear. because whenever this horse he was facing sun, he can see his reflection, and whenever he saw his reflection, he gets frightened. He feel that somebody is there to attack on him. So that's why he gets more alert. So then what he did, he just bring him back somewhere in the under the shadow where he cannot see the his reflection. So that's how he developed that create space. He understand his emotion. He understand
Ghalia?
yeah. Hello? So, sorry, did you just ask me to stop, Eba?
No, actually, I think I was disconnected,
Okay.
right?
Yeah. Yeah, so basically that's how he created a safe space for his horse, and then and eventually he able to able to ride him, he able to control him, and then that horse also become part of the history. So that's how we should understand if the client is saying something or if what he's not saying. We should able to see as a coach what he's not saying basically, because it's not easy to express. So when we say that the body language is mismatching, it's not the misinterpretation. It's just that maybe they're not aware of that. So as a coach, it's our duty or our job to bring that attention or give them uh, by asking the questions, give them more words, or help them to give them more vocabulary where they can express themselves very well.
I would just add one more comment from Dr. Ziad because it is very connected to what we were saying. He's saying some clients intentionally mask their emotions because they cannot easily be vulnerable.
They can not easily
Be vulnerable.
Oh yeah, I agree. That's here we should be, we should create a safe space for them. So they can be vulnerable and they feel safe to express themselves. Because sometimes we feel like, we are giving them space, but maybe it's not enough for some people because not everyone is same. So I agree with him. It happens, yeah. Some people they open up in first session. Some people they take 2 to 3 sessions to open up.
Yes.
So yeah, it just
Different pace. Yes.
yeah, exactly, yeah.
Thank you, Ghalia.
Then we can move to
Sure.
yeah, I can see that this is how the raise children in the Middle East. I believe I need to share my screen again. I think there's a problem. So now we will move to the fourth lens, which is our last lens. So this lens is developed by Mark Brackett, and this lens itself is a whole coaching process. So this lens will help us to moving from internal observation to external regulation. The first step is that to recognize, understand, label, express, and regulate. Like first we recognize what is the problem or where is the problem, then we understand it, then we label it, and then we express this. How should we express or where we should express? And regulate means like we should how we can regulate or balance our emotions. When we say that regulate, it doesn't mean that we have to eliminate the problem or eliminate the discomfort completely, because or we need to fix everything right away. We are human beings, we are not machines. So as human beings, we cannot eliminate the problem right away. Even if we try to do that, it can leads to long-term disconnection or maybe problem like depression or hypertension. So the goal of this process is to to build the capacity to move through the emotion, dropping the intensity by 10% only, just to restore our cognitive access. So the purpose is only to bring the intensity only by 10%. So then we gradually, we can reduce the problem, or we can, eliminate the problem, but gradually. So we have I developed an intervention toolkit here. I will just share one of the story of one of my client. I used this toolkit with him, and it really worked very well. So one of my client, he came to me and he wanted to quit a job. So when I asked him what is the problem, he told me that he has a colleague, and he cannot confront that colleague, or maybe he's very like he cannot face that client, and he wants to quit the job. Then we had a discussion. Definitely quitting job is not the solution. He can go somewhere else and he find maybe another person, and he will be uncomfortable, and he will leave another job. So then we just try to find out, what are you noticing in your body right now? So after the discussion, we found out the initial impulse was withdrawal, that he just wanting to avoid the colleague. Then we notice, what are you noticing in the body? So he told me that he's noticing a discomfort or tension in the body. Then we try to understand that, what do you think is feeding this feeling? Like, why he's having this feeling, or why he's having this feeling of discomfort and tension. So then we realized the emotion was discomfort and tension. It was not anger. It was unease and avoidance. He was just uneasy. He became uneasy just in his presence. So conflict with colleague thought, I just want to avoid this person. There was nothing else. Sometimes you meet some people and you feel like I'm not connecting well, and you just start disliking that person without any reason. So this was the case with him, that they interacted for some times and he just didn't connect with that person, and he started getting uneasy in his presence. Then he did, we try to label his emotion. That's a very important thing, labeling the emotion, because he was thinking he's just feeling stress. So I asked him, if we can name your emotion accurately, what could be is that? Is it just stress? Because stress is a big word. And then we had a discussion, like we just discussed about few things. Then we found out it's just unease. He was just uneasy. So uneasy, very, it has changed the shift from here. So basically from stress to uneasy already had solved the half of the problem. So then I understand, we should clear the awareness and create clarity. So we try to, after discussion, that when we discuss that, from stress to unease, the half thing is already done. So, it gives him some motivation and clarity that I can deal with that. Then we just think, what needs to be said and to whom? Choose a response, like instead of avoidance. We thought like where you can go and express your problem, with whom, so you feel, easy. Then he decided, I will just talk to that person, the same person, because I have to overcome this thing. But he will be prepared whenever he will go. He will have a structured conversation with him. He will be calm and have a, calm conversation with him. Then we did regulate, like what would help you to calm down 10%. So then we decided, instead of avoiding, he will be engaged with the person and prepared, and had the discussion which improved their relationship. So that's what he did. He, rather than avoiding, he started trying to engage with him, and that thing really improved. And now it's been almost 2 years, and they both are working at the same place. So that this toolkit, or this emotional lens, is itself, it's very helpful as taking the whole coaching process. So according to Mark Brackett's conclusion, this process create gap between stimulus and response, the gap, is where EI, emotional intelligence, exists. So high performers are not those who feels less emotions. They are those who have a process for moving through emotions before responding. So if you notice that all high performers, they're not those who feel less. They are just more aware of their emotions. I'm sure you guys must have heard about Oprah. Like, she had a very difficult childhood. She went through like lots of hardships, even growing up in her profession. She got, laid off, or they cut her role, that, you're not able to do that. So it's not that, yeah, she, like, she was definitely, she was hurted, she felt failure, but, rather than having that failure, she tried to explore those emotions. What are the emotions I'm feeling right now? And she tried to journalize those emotions. She tried to, process that emotion, to understand it, what it is. And then after the journalizing, she become more aware of her emotions. And then those emotions helped her where she is today. So emotional intelligence is a skill we can practice by recognizing, understanding, labeling, expressing, and regulating emotions. We can navigate them more effectively if we use all this process. Is there any question?
We only have a comment from Coach Anwar on the chat. There's also cultural differences which affects expressing one's emotions. She's talking about the body language.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, it happens. Yeah. So like, I have done the full integration practice for one of my client by using all four lenses. It's a kind of a practical approach which can help you guys later as well to apply in your real life coaching. So like, according to Plutchik, the client, she came to me and she told me, her son is leaving for college and she's snapping at everyone. She cannot sleep. She's very stressed. So then we try to, find out what's her situation and how we can, handle it, or she can overcome it. So by using all four lenses, like, what is the intensity right now? What is the right vocabulary we can use? What is the body sensation or the past meaning are constructing right now? And how would you walk this client through the ruler sequence? Then we found out that, she's, her emotion is anticipation and sadness, because she's anticipating that her son will leave and she will be stressed. So there was basically it was not sadness, it was a grief and anticipation. And there was a fear underneath. Then we found out, what is why she's not able to sleep. So she was thinking that her son will leave, her house will be empty. So the real emotional pain came from the meaning attached to the empty house and the transition of letting go. Then we think like how she can express this. So once we label the emotion correctly, the intervention changed. So instead of managing stress, the focus became emotional adjustment and acceptance, that she has to adjust accordingly and she has to accept it, that her son has to go, he has to leave for university, it's for his betterment. So that thing really helped her to regulate her emotions. So for all the coaches, basically I developed this, I developed this toolkit by integrating emotional intelligence model into one practical coaching approach. So like, first we can understand the emotion. The second, expand our vocabulary. The third is recognize how emotions interpreted and created. And third is learn from reacting emotionally to leading emotionally. So having emotion is not a bad thing, or there's nothing wrong. It's just the thing how we express the emotion. For example, sometimes, you're angry, even anger, there's nothing wrong to it. It's just that how you express that anger. So that matters basically. So I think everyone has emotion. It's just like how you will label them, how you understand them. If you will understand them well, you will be able to lead your emotion. You will be more intentional in your response rather than reacting. So it's very important that you respond to your emotion rather than react. Because normally people, what they do, they always skip the part labeling the emotion. They always move from reacting to, like they just feel something and they react right away. The in between, the whole journey, they forget about it. And in the
Dalia, sorry to interrupt you, but we only have 3 minutes left.
okay. Oh, it's okay. Yeah. So I think we can just end the presentation here. And I would like to ask a question from my everyone. They can.
Yes. Would you like them to raise the Zoom hand or just take the questions from the chat?
No, I just want to ask one question from everyone, if they can.
Yes, sure. Okay. Anybody wants to ask a question?
Yeah. So, what is the one emotional pattern you became aware of today? And what is the one thing you will do differently starting from tomorrow?
Okay, please answer in the chat. The one emotional pattern, journaling.
Okay.
What is one thing you will do differently starting tomorrow? Butaina is saying she will start journaling. And Muna is saying study emissions vocabularies. Soha is saying I'm so cautious of my feelings. Notice feelings, thinking positively. Yes, Walid usually thinks positively. Name the feeling. We will see what will happen tomorrow. Reacting for certain feeling. Just a second. Okay. Going deeper with the client, prepare my own emotion dictionary based on the great tools I received here. Learn more about AI. Really question the labeling and do a deeper dive into what is underneath that initial emotion. Respond, not react. Pause before responding. I like that one. Remembering
That's very
that
important.
emotions don't happen to us, and the importance of identifying the exact emotion behind the first automatic one. I need to learn more about vocabulary, learning more about the framework, okay, to notice my feelings and to reflect more on them. I recognize that my emotional pattern is restoring to past experience. What I will do next is trying to be more attuned to the reality of emotions, not my impression of what the emotion is.
Exactly. That's very important actually.
Confidence, learning more. I learned about shades of each emotion. I understand the sadness that's sometimes covered by the fear. So, Galia, I have a suggestion. I don't know if you're
Yeah.
gonna accept
Yes,
it.
yes. Yes, please.
And I'm really putting you on the spot right now.
Okay, now yeah.
So, how about having a part two of this? Because I see that we have a lot of comments, and I
Yeah.
actually received the request on the private chat. So, how about that?
Yeah, sure, we can do
Let's
that because
see
even
if
like
others want to have part two. Let's see. Thumb ups. Okay. So, what do you think now? Look at the screen.
no, I didn't see. Sorry.
Okay.
Sure.
Is that possible?
Yeah, sure, we can do that. Even like because of the short of time, like we cannot even discuss
Yeah.
about the competencies of EQ. So definitely we can have that, yeah.
Perfect. So we're going to arrange it, inshallah, after ICW.
Sure.
I will ask you now if you can please stop sharing.
Yeah,
We
sure.
have just a little word.
Yes, go
Can you
ahead.
have a homework for next time for this part 2?
Do you want to have a homework for the part 2? Definitely.
Yeah, something to read just to get ready for
If you
the
have
part 2.
recommendations for
Yeah,
something to
I
read.
can just it's better to read the book from the Brené Brown. It's all about emotions, and normally she talks about the emotional granularity, which is very important. Like how to be precise and specific. So I would suggest that read that book.
Thank you so much, Ghalia. And we will also send the name of the book on one of our WhatsApp groups.
Sure. Yeah.
Now I have a final request. Ghalia, first, I would like to thank you very much for this session. It was very insightful. And one more request from all participants, please scan this QR and let us know your thoughts about the session today. This will help us improve and also fulfill all your needs and requests. I will leave it for 10 seconds because Walid is going to mute me now. Okay. And coming on at 8:30, we have an amazing session with Coach Alia Muradi. She will talk to us about another amazing topic. So you may take a small break, grab your favorite tea or coffee, and see you at 8:30. Inshallah, I think you should not miss this one. See you, inshallah, in a few bit. Thank
Thank
you
you,
so much,
everyone.
Ghalia.
Thank you. Bye.
The same link?